Hi and welcome back to my channel. So today I just wanted to share with you a little bit of what I've got done throughout the week. And I mean throughout the week. I told you I was a very slow crafter. I deal with chronic pain and I really do enjoy crafting, and I do want to share with you all the little things that I do because I love what you're sharing out there. Last week I mentioned to you that I was making a summer wreath. I started the summer wreath in April. That's how slow of a crafter I am. So I watched a YouTuber called Hardworking Mom, and she has a ton of tutorial videos, step by step. Every little thing that you need to know on how to make these glorious deco mesh wreaths. In all different types of styles, for all different types of occasions. And I implore you, stop this video now, go to her channel, check out her videos because they're so much better than my content. And then come back here and tell me what you hope to accomplish using her tutorials. And I'll show you the one that I was most inspired by. Now, the one that I followed first from her is called the How to Make a Summer Curly Deco Mesh Wreath. So, been working on it since April. Show you what I've come up with. I'm not finished with it, but this is my progress. It's huge. It's probably the biggest wreath I have ever made, and I'm so proud of it. Every step of the way, I cut and twisted and did every little thing best I could every single day as my back would let me do it, because I had to stand to do, and sitting, standing, all of it, it hurts. So this is definitely a labor of love. I've got butterflies and ribbons, and I'm going to put them all the way around the wreath. Today I pulled out the glue gun, and I glued the florist wire to the bottom of these butterflies that I found on Amazon, and then I make the bundle for the bow. I should have had this ready before I started recording. Sorry. So then I get the ribbons and I put the ribbons on there, and I use a pipe cleaner and I put that around it, twist it a couple of times, and then I take this that I've twisted, if you can see the wire's twisted, and I twist that around the pipe cleaner so that the butterflies kind of hover over the ribbons. And it took me a while to come up with this plan, because at first I was thinking I could just stab the little butterflies into the wreath and it'll just be fine. But they kept flopping over. They kind of need to hold on to the pipe cleaner stem. And then you just kind of tuck that into the wreath. So there'll be 16 butterfly and bow bunches going across the whole project. So that was really fun, and I just used a plain glue gun, and I've been stacking the ribbons. I've got glittery gauzy ribbon, I've got bright pink plaid. This is going to be the main one, so every single ribbon bunch is going to be this pink because I like it. I've got these satin, not silk. I've got these satin bows, little owls on them, and ice cream cones, polka dots. So I have it in, I think this is 2.5, this is 1.5, and I think the other one is 1 inch. And I'm stacking them 3. I'll take the yellow and I'll put them together like that. Put the ice cream in there like this. And then I kind of like spread them out a little pinch them and go ahead and do the, I forget what that little cut's called in the ribbon. It's like a sparrow tail or dovetail. I think it's a dovetail, some bird. Yeah, and then do the cut in the ribbon and put the butterfly on it, and then just stick it on the wreath. So yeah, I'm really happy about doing that. Because I've been working on that, I haven't really been working on my top. I'm still worried about the issue with the instruction that has me creating another bit of the pattern at the end, but I went ahead and undid my little adjustment that I told you about last week, and I'm only like 3 repeats into. I'm wondering whether or not if I just keep going, it'll just weigh itself down and it won't ruffle, because right now it's ruffling. So yeah, anyway, here I am. I've got this is about 10 rows, 10 rows, and then I've got a billion to go. So I've got to do this, just continue to do this until it reaches to the middle of my armpit, and it's going to go across my shoulders like this. Again, this is not being done in the round, so trying to keep the edges neat so that they'll be easy to seam together like that all around my body. And then once I get the yoke done, which will include the sleeve caps, and then I'll do a chain underneath the arm and then pick up the pattern going around my torso. I am going to try and make it more of an umpire waist, so right underneath the breasts I'm going to put my own little design element where I'm going to increase from the original, from the narrowing, because in the pattern it'll narrow across the torso. I'm going to do a part of it, you can't see my hands, I'm going to do this part like a band underneath of the size or the stitch number that they recommend, and then I'm going to increase it in order for it to kind of come off like this shirt. I love this top. And so, well, all my tops are like this because I have the apple body shape, and the umpire waist is the most flattering on my figure. I also enjoy wearing the peplum, which is another flattering look on my figure, and so it just depends on how the yarn is going to weigh on my body, whether or not it's going to look like an umpire waist or peplum. I don't know if you recall, I made the lacy shells top flowy by the lavender chair, and it ended up looking more peplum than it did as far as and I think that's what she intended. It's kind of like just a little too low on the waist when it does its little flare to be considered umpire waist. Umpire waist literally starts right about 1 inch, 2 inches underneath the bust. So, and that lacy shells flowy top, the flare started like right above the belly button. So that's more of a peplum type. So I'm going off onto a tangent about fits. But if you're apple body shaped like me, I hope you appreciate that, because it really does look nice on our figure to have that little extra bunch of fabric to like pop out, because that's where, our belly is up front. Unlike some ladies who have the lower belly, a woman with apple body shape has the belly up top, up front, right underneath the breasts. And that's why they call it the apple shape. And then the hips are more narrow. So when you do a peplum or empire, you're making the illusion of the drape is to make the hips look more in proportion to the bust, because the bust is going to be the bust and the shoulders. We've got this straight shoulders, and most people with apple body shapes have a wider circumference across their shoulders to their hips. Even if I had 20% body fat and I was 130 pounds, I would still, and I have been that size. I was an athlete in high school. My shoulders have always been wider than my hips, and here I am at 45 years old, and it's still true even though I'm 200 pounds. So That's just the body type. So even skinny apples have that proportion distribution. And not to say that it's not a beautiful distribution. There are a lot of people who have the apple body type. They're fit and fabulous. Catherine Zeta-Jones is an apple body type. So is, oh gosh, I can't remember her name right now. Elizabeth Hurley is an apple body type. Oh gosh, Chrissy Teigen or Teigen, however you say her name, Chrissy Teigen is apple body type. You know, you've got the big shoulders, big bust, you know, waist that's just a little bit thinner than the hips, and then very little rear end to speak of. I can go on. There are a lot of celebrities. Just look up, Google search celebrities with apple body type, and you'll see it all pop up. So even when we're fit and trim, we still have that disproportion. So when you're making garments for a person with apple body type, consider adding just a little extra to just at the first rib underneath the breasts for the umpire waist, or create a peplum, putting a little extra at just above the top of the hip line. So that's how at least it fits for me. Anyway, no idea why I went on that tangent. I hope you enjoyed the ride.